What's going on, guys? I'm Bear Degidio, and we are back with another episode of the Jaxxon podcast. I'm sitting here with the most viral streamer on the planet. He's been clipped up more times than any other person on the internet right now. He has been seen running it with Aiden. He's been seen running it with Dean the Great. He's been getting ran in, whatever they call it, at the pool parties. He's been killing it at his pool parties. I'm not dapping
you up on that. Let's get the intro.
And we're sitting here with one of the greatest UFC agents / attorneys in the game, verified by the U.S. Council of Attorney of Bar Association. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO and founder and vice president, maybe, but not really. Yeah, I don't want to put that out there. Jason House.
The house, baby! Let's go to the house!
Was I allowed to release that information about you being VP of the whole thing, the new thing? Or no?
What?
Sorry.
You see?
No?
Yeah, he's on one. Yeah.
All right, we'll move on from that one. But it's good to have you here. Iridium Sports, one out of every 2 fighters, and there's only 2 fighters in the cage that fight at a time, are signed to Iridium. Every college wrestler is signed to Iridium. I heard he's trying to sign streamers. I saw a deal out there in the parking lot with a couple guys from Twitch. It's amazing to see what Iridium Agency has done. You have a good ground team. You have a great VP of operations over there, Jacob, who's running around the country, locking you in deals
over here
left and
giving
right.
titles to guys. Yeah. VP of operations.
Well, I don't. What you guys call him is crazy. Bro, have you seen what they call him on his business card?
What they call him?
Director of Food and Beverage. I'm like, how you give that title to Jacob, who's the hardest working kid I've ever seen in my life? Except when I caught him at the gas station eating hot Cheetos and Takis. I said, what are you doing, bro? You're making us all look bad. So talk to me about Iridium, dude. Talk to me about the agency. This is the first time we've had a manager / agent on the podcast.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he fights, but he fights Diego, and he gets Diego so much money, Diego lets him submit him. So
Diego Sanchez?
No, Diego Lopez.
What? It's 2 Diegos.
Lopez or Diego Sanchez. I saw a video of him getting arrested, and then the cop's like, oh, damn, this is Diego Nightmare Sanchez. And the cop's like, oh.
You know what? That's strange you say that. He DM'd me a while ago, and I forgot to DM back. I forgot. I was busy. I was like, oh, damn, Diego Sanchez DM me. I got to hit him back. I saw that too. I hope he's doing well. I'm sure he's out of jail by now, but I don't know. I don't know.
I hope he's doing good. I've always been a big fan of Diego.
Me
He's
too.
a good dude.
He's a good
Great fight. Great fight. One of the best fights in the history of UFC.
Yeah.
This fight.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Iridium, Jason. Kind of break it down for the audience at home before we get into this thing and we start making fun of each other the whole time. I want to know for the audience kind of how you got into the idea of managing athletes. You're an attorney. You went to school with one of my family members. We know how successful you are. But getting into the space and building an agency like that.
Yeah, I started training at Team Moyama actually in 07, 08 when I was in law school. And at the time, there really wasn't a lot of management firms. I remember at the time, it was, I think, Ken Pavia from MMA Agents had an office in Huntington Beach. So I started interning there throughout law school. And then when I finished law school, I just decided to go on my own.
What type of law were you studying?
At the time, I was studying criminal law. Then I kind of switched over to contract law as soon as I started heading into this space.
Want to catch serial killers?
No. I thought I was going to be a DA, honestly.
Oh, wow.
That's what I was looking to do. And then once MMA came along, and then like Colin Oyama and Jiva Santana like really like took me under their wing, and they were the ones that kind of like said, hey, you should try your hand at management. You can be really good at it.
Yeah, Colin Oyama was an attorney as well.
Yeah.
Was he
and that's
really?
and that's kind of why, Colin's kind of a slow starter sometimes with people, but I felt like we kind of hit it off right away because I told him I was in law school, and he obviously knew that journey, so he was always really good to me.
Wait, Colin Oyama, the trainer?
Yeah, he went to law school. He could have been an attorney.
Coach?
Yeah.
He could
The
have been
head coach of Oyama was an attorney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. He could have went to.
Honestly, that's what kind of inspired me. I'm like, man, Coach made a pivot step in his life to go do what he was passionate about. So I was like, maybe I should try my hand and do the same.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, though, to see what you do for the fighters. And all joking aside, we've been doing a lot of deals and been working with his fighters for years. And one thing I always told everybody, I deal with every manager and probably agent in every sport. I always try to deal with the athletes direct, not to cut out the fighters or cut out the managers, but just to try to figure out exactly what's going on. For example, I don't need to say any names, but the idea is that
my manager hates him.
I actually love Tiki. There's an elephant in the room.
Man.
Tiki don't like you?
I wanted Tiki on the podcast.
They almost got to fighting, bro. They almost got to fighting, and it was a whole big thing, and I was trying to smooth everything.
Tiki's
You
a good
guys
dude.
almost got into a fight?
Yeah,
You think I would fight Tiki?
Tiki whoop his ass.
Tiki knows how to fight?
Tiki fought in the UFC.
Does he really? Well, that would have been bad.
Yeah, Tiki.
Because when he showed up with the dyed beard, I go, oh, this might be an easy one for me. But then I didn't know.
Catching strays.
I didn't know.
He hadn't dyed his beard in years.
Here's the craziest thing is Tiki actually was one of the first guys when I was building out the Jaxxon Media House. He would come and see what I was doing with Rampage. He'd ask me, what am I doing with the fighters? Give me advice too. He's been actually a good friend to me regardless of everything. But when Rampage was getting ready for a fight, there's a lot of, testosterone in the building. So things get slipped up. But what I've learned the hard way is that communication with managers is the most important part when you're dealing with high-profile fighters. So some people think, like myself, oh, that's just probably common knowledge. No, managers and agents, which I've learned the hard way, want it written out and spelled out perfectly. Now, for the audience at home who doesn't understand, like me and Rampage, he is very aware of Jaxxon, the jewelry brand we had. Then he came on and did the Jaxxon podcast with me because I've been friends with him. So it's not one of those things where like I had to go to his agent to get him to do a deal. I've known him for 15 years.
Yeah.
So sometimes that blurs the lines where people are like, oh, you might be taking advantage of him. This isn't like a movie where we're still in his money. You know what I mean? So it's different in that perspective. But when we talk about fighters with you, everybody always tells me, yo, the UFC is different. Why do you even need a manager? Like Dana tells you what you're going to get paid, you're going to get it. And that is what it is. There's no other option. There's no other organization. But you've done such a good job explaining to me why a manager, why an agency is so important still in the UFC.
Yeah, I definitely think athletes need management. For one, just to handle all the stuff outside the cage so they can kind of focus on the task inside the cage, right? And I think a lot of times, as managers, we get credit for the deals that we negotiate or the opportunities that we present them. But for me, I feel like I should be judged on how my athletes are living after fighting. I don't think it's about how much money you make. I think it's about how much money you save and invest properly. So I'm not saying I'm a wizard in the financial space. I mean, I do have a good bit of knowledge, but I've been blessed to know a lot of people in that space. And I think it's important that we help these athletes, who sacrifice their bodies and their time and their lives for the sport to make sure they have a good life after it. Because the truth of the matter is, like, fighting is a moment in time for us. Like, even if we fought till 40 years old or 45 years old, you still have half your life to live. And I get really attached to my guys. I love my guys. And I want to make sure that their back half of their life is as good as the first half, And another part of that too is also the mental aspect of it, because, a lot of fighters, their whole identity is fighting. It's the first time they've ever received love, whether it's just conditional love from fans, but it's the first time they receive love. And so when they lose that identity as a fighter, it can be a struggle at times. So to answer your question, yes, I think there's many roles management can play, but I think it's really looking at the big picture for the athlete so they can kind of focus on the micro at the time of was just fighting and just that fight, right? We kind of have to take a GPS look like, hey, what does 5 years look like? What does 10 years look like while they're in that moment and being present? So I think if you have a good manager, he allows you to be present in the moment, focusing one camp at a time, one fight at a time, while he's kind of planning out the next 2 to 3, 4, 5 years for you. And I think that's the key to all of it.
I'm glad you said that, because you and Bear got something in common. You see, he said he loved his guys just like Bear loved his guys, and he looks out for his fighters, the backside and the front side. He just look out for his guys. He loves backsides.
I mean, but Rampage,
I knew it was coming. I heard you say that. I go, man.
But you know what though? Like Colin Oyama was the first one to really teach me that. He told me, he's like, Jason, if you go on your own, we're going back to business. Colin was the first one to kind of show me, like, Jason, if you go on your own, you can manage my guys, but I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm really all in for my guys. And Colin at I've seen Colin at weigh-ins or at fights. He'll get in a fight with anyone for the greater good of his guys. And I learned at a young age, like, that's our job. Like, he showed that to me right off the rip, that, like, hey, you're gonna live and die by these guys. Like, if you're gonna rep them and be their voice, like, you better have a voice. You better not be quiet in times you need to speak.
I'm gonna tell you, Colin. So he was like our big brothers, and some of the youngest ones probably they look up to him like a dad. I looked at Colin like a big brother.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't know this about Colin, because a lot of people probably never got close enough to him to know, but man, he was one of the best dudes ever. Like, he would give you the shirt off his back. He used to have, he adopted a bunch of African kids.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A penny a day, whatever, all those things. And I always thought that stuff was scams, but it's his intent. He had a good heart. So I felt like a lot of us fighters was a charity case, because a lot of guys couldn't afford to pay him.
Exactly.
But he still trained them just as hard as he trained us.
Exactly. And that's what I meant earlier on. Like, he's kind of a slow started warm up to, like, a lot of people don't get to know him. You know what I mean? I say it as a compliment to him. He's very reserved.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I don't know what he saw in me or what interest he took in me, but I mean, I always try to give him his due. Like, hey, man, you changed my life. I was going to go to law school. I don't know what I was going to do. And you're like, dude, come over here. Come
he don't like everybody.
No, he doesn't.
And you would know it right away.
So like right away when he took it to me, I was like, oh man, I went home all happy that day at the gym, you know?
You know, my first time meeting Colin, it was right after I fought Sakuraba. And Tito was training in Big Bear, and this was my first time going training with Tito. Fabiano Ehad and brought me up there and said, hey, Tito's training for a fight. He need a sparring partner.
Yeah.
Let's go. And I went up to Big Bear, and I didn't think Colin liked me because the first day, as soon as I got up there, they was doing sprints. I hadn't even put my luggage in the house yet.
Yeah.
They got me out of the car and had me doing sprints. I said, look, I thought I was training with Tito. What the fuck I need to do sprints for?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm running with them. They doing sprints up a hill in Big Bear. I've never been to high altitude ever in my life. Well, I've been, college when I went up there. But I haven't been up there, and they had been there for a week or two already. So I'm sprinting with them, and I had like a problem. I couldn't breathe or something. I had like a problem. Colin thought I was faking. So I was like, he thought I just, because I was complaining. You could hear me complaining getting out the car. As soon as I got out the car, they made me do sprints. So he thought I was faking, but I wasn't. And I didn't think Colin liked me at first. So it took me a while to warm up to him.
Oh, he always speaks the world of you. He always tells the stories about his early days when he was working with you and stuff, and good memories, good times.
We had some good times.
Yeah.
It's crazy because so many people have a common denominator similar to like jujitsu, like the sensei who gave the black belt came from the master. And it seems like Colin Oyama has a huge impact on OC fight life and the OC MMA scene. Like he's been here the longest.
I'm gonna tell you,
him and maybe Coach Perillo.
Yeah, I credit my defense and my style to Colin Oyama. The cover and roll. Bro, I teach my son and I tell him, and Colin broke it down for me. Did you meet his coach? Crew Rex?
Yes.
Before he passed?
Yes.
Crew Rex was the coolest guy, and Colin learned it from his crew. And Colin told me it was designed for the smaller guy, the shorter guy, to be able to have defense against a taller guy or a bigger guy. And you just walk him down. And I learned that defense, and bro, I won so many fights I wasn't supposed to. And I think the time when I really made Colin proud, my first time fighting in K1, my first kickboxing fight. And I knocked that guy out using the cover and roll, and he was so proud of me.
As one of the things I've always enjoyed is when Colin's happy, he's happy. Yeah, he's happy. Like I know I think to the public they won't know, but like when Colin's happy with you, like you feel it. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh man, it's like you got that attaboy, you got that you did it. You know, like
and when he's not happy, he'll tell you too. You fucking suck.
I remember one time we were at King of the Cage, and Tony Lopez won the fight, but it was. I think a fight that Colin thought was much tougher than it should have been, right? It was and man, he let him have it while we were eating Mexican food at the San Manuel Casino. And I remember I was probably 23 years old, green as can be, like and Colin right in front of Tony's wife. He was just letting him have it. But it was for the right reasons though, right? Hey, you got to train more. We got to do this right. You got to take care of yourself. I can't keep having you go in there and take that kind of damage, even though you're winning. This is like
it was from a place.
It was from a good place, but I mean, I remember other people looking at our table, and I'm like, oh man. But I mean, his love is the right love, but not everyone wants to receive that.
But
right?
Right now in 2025, you can't even do that in public because people are so soft now. Like, why are you yelling at? Like, people don't understand.
You go viral on TikTok for being abusive or something.
Yeah, people don't understand.
One thing I want to know from you, Jason, is people have talked about how successful you are as an agent, and I always tell people, well, for me, I always preach this game of authenticity in the community, and I try to live and breathe. And I literally live here at the Jaxxon Media House and now our new Sanso Performance Studio. And I always found it so interesting. And I'm not saying this because you're here, but Thanksgiving Day, you had Diego Lopez and Alessandro with you, and you're like, hey, Bear, I'm coming in with Raul Rosas Jr.
Yeah.
And, we're in town for the day. It's Thanksgiving. And I remember being like, my family knows I'm with them every day. So it's a little bit easier for me. I can kind of leave, come back. They live here in Newport with me, and I'm with them 7 days a week. But I remember you being like, yeah, I'm taking care of these guys. And you have a family, you have a wife. And I'm like, what a dope agent who's not using them, is successful, doesn't need to be with these guys. They weren't that big in their career yet. So I left and I came here and we hung out here at the Jaxxon Media House. We let Diego ride the motorcycles around the office. We broke a door. Yeah. And then I remember going home telling my dad, and I remember telling Rampage too, dude, I really like the way that you personally take care of your guys. You are there. You're not sending a minion because it's a holiday. And then the fact that these guys had so much respect for you because you're a black belt, you fought. And I'm not saying you were an amazing fighter. I don't know your fighting pedigree, but I'm saying it more to the fact that they have the respect for you because you understand where they're coming from, that you're here training with them on 4th of July morning, or you bring them into town during a big holiday. I find it the most intriguing thing that an agency could still, at your level of success, have that much touch personally. How are you able to keep up with that many fighters having a roster of 200-300 people?
I think it's just keeping the main thing. And it really is, I think sometimes, and I think Rampage, you've seen this, like guys get egos and stuff. And I'm a servant. My job is to serve and give to these athletes. They're the guy. I'm the guy behind the guy. And my job is to love and care for them. And in a sport, in a world where, let's be honest, it's conditional love, right? It's based on your performance inside the cage. My job is to love you unconditionally outside of it and just make sure you're good. And like Diego, Alessandro, Raul, like I love all those guys, right? Like they want to come stay at my house for a couple of weeks, man. I love that, like I'm lucky. I work with really good people that I want to hang out with and, eat food with and go travel with. Like I wouldn't work with someone that we didn't fit, I'm not for everyone, but for those I'm for, like we're gonna ride hard together. We're gonna be together.
Man, it's cool you said that. I used to have like a really good relationship with one of my old managers, and we had the same birthday and everything. So he was like a big brother and stuff like that. And but he turned out to be a crook. But when I first started to see him on my radar, one day he was saying that he was my boss, and I was like, oh, you're my boss. I said, okay, then motherfucker, then pay me. Pay me then.
We work for you. We're servants. My job is to serve and give, and it's one of the core principles of this agency that we're here to serve and give. You need me to go pick up your grandma at the airport? That's my job for the day. You know what I mean? You need me to go negotiate a big contract for you? That's my job for the day.
Man, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Good.
You need a place to spend the holiday with. Hey man, come to my home. I think if you keep that, you won't get off course, because ego, like you said, ego gets building. I got Rampage, and he's probably feeling himself like, yeah, Rampage works for me. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. This is the other way around, So I really try to always keep that as the center focal point of our group.
See, that's good. That's a good management right there.
Rampage, I was going to ask you, over the years of dealing with managers and agents, and I know you have an amazing relationship with Tiki, your manager, who also managed Dustin Poirier, and he has an amazing relationship with Dana White. How important is it that your manager or the agent, so to say, in the UFC, it's kind of the same thing. Unlike baseball, you have a manager and you have a marketing agent. How important is it that your manager or agent has a relationship directly with Dana White or directly with Hunter Campbell or Mick or the UFC?
Wow, I've had managers. I had a manager that Dana White couldn't stand. Wow, it was the worst contracts. Man, I had the best pay-per-view numbers, contract deal, and he couldn't stand my manager, and my manager was making good money from it. So somehow my contract got changed. It's just it was so much crazy stuff that happened. Like we asked for like signing bonuses and different things. We couldn't get nothing because Dana didn't like that manager. But then my second manager I had after that, the one I just told you about, him and Dana had a good relationship, and I noticed that it was easier to get certain things. So I think that's very important that your manager and the promoter kind of gets along and they respect each other.
Yeah.
I don't think they have to really like each other, but I think if the promoter dislikes your manager, I think it's time to jump ship, in my opinion.
I have the exact same opinion as you, and I know publicly sometimes I get criticized for this, but I treat my relationship with the UFC as kind of like my marriage. This can be a long-term relationship. Rampage, you're going to fight in the UFC 10, 15 years. It's a long-term relationship. Now, does that mean we don't disagree? Of course we do. Does it mean we have arguments? Of course we do. But that's behind closed doors. I treat that relationship with the utmost respect. Outside of it, I show it the respect it deserves. Inside those doors, we negotiate. Obviously, they sit on one side of the table. You've been there many times. But to your answer, I completely agree with you. You have to have a really respectful working relationship, because you're right. If they're going to play ball with you, you know what I mean? It's going to go a lot better than if you're constantly in a position of, and I think we see it in other sports too. When you negotiate in public, it never ends well.
Right.
And some of these agents have done that in our sport. They negotiate in public, or they say things in public, and Dana sees it, or someone in the UFC sees it, and it goes negatively. That's your ego. Again, that's ego. Me, I don't care. I don't need a big public attaboy when I negotiate a deal. Any of my clients, they know what I did for them. They're happy with them. You know what I mean? Their wives are happy. Their kids are happy. That's all I need. I don't need nothing more than that.
Yeah. I think a lot of fans might not understand or think, or is probably not on their radar, but for a fighter, Our first fight is with the promoter. That's our first fight before we even step in the cage. And a manager, they the ones that go to fight for you. It's like you were in your manager's corner at that time. Your manager is the one fighting for you with the promoter, because a lot of promoters, they want to talk about they try to not all, but some try to downplay, like, oh, you didn't do so well your last fight, or you did this, and they bring up all the bad stuff. So you want to make as much money as you can get, and they want to pay you for the least they can get you for.
But in a relationship with like a organization similar to the UFC, or let's just say the UFC, not saying this in a bad way at all, they actually have all the power though. It's not like baseball where there's a union. It's not like football where, most people don't understand. In NFL, the league gives the team owners the money and then they go and pay the players. That's what people don't understand about the NFL. So when they say, hey, you have $300 million salary cap, the NFL got broadcasting and media and publications. Yeah. They give that money to the team owner. The team owner can.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
Yeah, so like a lot of people don't understand when the Player Association are doing these TV deals, or the NFL Players Association is doing these unionized deals. It's a lot different than what most people think. And obviously everybody hears $7 billion. They think there's so much money there. They're forgetting how much it costs to put on an event, how much it costs to have infrastructure. So much more back there. That's a black hole that you could go down forever. But what about the UFC specifically? Like, people are under the impression that whatever Dana tells you, that's what you're going to get.
No,
is there a negotiation room?
There's negotiations with every fight and with every contract, And I think one thing we have to also remember too, because we make these comparisons. Where was baseball 33 years in? Where was football 33 years in? I mean, if I think baseball 33 years in, those guys still had winter jobs, and I'm not defending anyone. It's just I have an understanding of we're not going to move the marker where we want it to be in one overnight, right? It's constant progression. It's constantly inching closer towards the goal. I mean, Rampage, you were in the early days of then, and you guys were real trailblazers, right? Getting the money you were getting in Japan, and then coming back to UFC, and I think that kind of helped raise the market value in America, right? Because Japan was kind of doing that. Every industry has that, and it's just being aware of that and just understanding, okay, these are some of the issues that we're having in our sport,
I think what the main problem is that MMA has changed the world, unlike boxing has. And so people are looking at boxers and like people like Floyd Mayweather and Canelo and seeing how much money they're making, right? And then they look at people like John Jones and the other fighters, the top 1% in the UFC, and it's like a big difference, right? Yeah. And so boxing has been around for a lot longer, and so that's the thing. And MMA fighters, especially me, I was kind of embarrassed about it. I made pretty good money, but I didn't make Floyd Mayweather money, right? Yeah. And so we'd be out and about in the world and stuff like that, and some people really think that MMA fighters would be broke. Yeah. A lot of MMA fighters are, but like the top 1%, like we do okay. Do I do Floyd Mayweather okay? Never did. Like John, what's his name? Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor. He broke out of that matrix, and he did good. And
also because of his deal though with his whiskey, his Irish whiskey.
Yeah,
not so much of his contracts, maybe. I mean, I'm sure he still got a lot of money with his contracts.
But that's how he got that deal with the whiskey, because what I'm saying,
of success. Of course. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, you still did phenomenal.
Yeah, but I just the disconnect. Me and a lot of other fans wish that the top 1% MMA guys was making the same as the boxers, but it's just not there yet, and a lot of fans don't understand, and it is embarrassing to us. Because sometimes when we compare it to like Mayweather and Canelo, we do feel like brokies.
I mean, there's the rumor circulating, right, that John did get the $30 million that he was asking for to fight Tom. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't been privy to those.
Yeah, the rumor is that the UFC offered John Jones the $30 million contract to fight Tom Aspinall.
If that's true, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I mean, we're moving in the right direction. I mean, that's a.
I to be honest, and I'm all joking aside, I think John Jones is the GOAT. We all know that. I think John Jones is a phenomenal.
No, you just said Chael Sonnen was. You just said that last podcast.
I said Chael Sonnen's the GOAT at commentary. Oh. But I do think that a guy like John Jones, if he wanted the $30 million for his last fight with everything he's done and where the UFC is at, they could have figured it out. And I think they did, and they probably had no problem doing that. So I do think that, like, if there ever was a guy to get that type of money, it's going to be him. Yeah. But I do think, like Rampage just said, is the 1% of the UFC getting the Canelo money? Probably not.
You think if I get my fat ass back in shape and
get on the White House card?
Yeah, go and do a bunch of stem cells, get on the PEDs that Bear's on, I can go back and make a $30 million payday.
I do.
I think you could get $5 million to fight on the White House card.
$5 million. I'm trying to make a $30 million payday.
No, but why don't we just get you real quick on the card? I think you versus DC would be insane at light heavyweight.
But I also think too, like go back to your manager Tiki, right? I think he has a good understanding of the market right now. And I think that's why he does a good job negotiating his contracts for his guys. And I think we're the same way. You know, we have 100 athletes in the UFC. We're constantly on the table. We know that market value, and we're able to keep inching it forward too. You know,
right. Tiki, Tiki. I'm telling you.
I think that's again, it's why you need good management. You need people to have a good relationship with the UFC. Like I have a good relationship with the UFC. Does that mean I don't argue with them? No, we argue, but I have a great relationship with Hunter. I love him. You know, we may not see eye to eye all the times, but like we always come to terms and we figure it out. And I think that's the key. With Tiki, I feel like he's done a good job of maintaining a good relationship, knowing when to push, knowing when to pull. And I think sometimes it's about scoring, not spiking, right? Like if you go and you rake them over the coals one time when you have them, don't forget that's going to come full circle. And again, right? You know what I mean? And so it's just maintaining a good relationship with them, being respectful. And again, just keeping it behind closed doors. You may not agree, you know, but you don't have to take it public and say things publicly. Like I don't, you know, like I'm grateful. I mean, for me, like I'm living my dream. And part of that is for Dana and the Fertittas going after their dream, right? And all you guys and everything that you and that first generation did to make the sport where it's at, right? Because it was your generation that really like put that thing on the map. I mean, remember like, when you fought Chuck I remember all my friends getting $5 together in law school. I'm embarrassed to say this, but like, it was like, we stopped our lives, right? Because you didn't get so much access to it. Right. When you were fighting, that's what made it special was that like Pride is on, you know, or UFC's on, you know what I mean? And like, you're like, dude, I got plans. I'm not going out tonight. Like, guys, it's on. Like, we got this, baby. You know what I mean? And like, I miss those days, that nostalgia of just being like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Those are far gone. I had no idea that MMA was going to be this big. I had no idea. And I was actually worried that MMA was going to be like PKA kickboxing. Do you remember PKA kickboxing?
Yes.
It just
no, and that's true because the podcast you did with Terry Troublecock, and Terry's one of the first promoters I worked. We joke about it now because he used to punk me as a little kid. He knew I was young in the game and stuff. I love him, and man, it's just hearing those stories of just like Rampage. I mean, there is no blueprint to what you were doing. There was no, like, you didn't know what was going to come from this. We didn't even know what Pride was going to be. You had no idea when you went out there. Like, I always think about that as some of my younger guys. Like, I one time I went through your Tapology and I was looking, I was like, I couldn't imagine having this many fights. I'm going, okay, we're just going to go to Japan, a foreign country, not know anything. And like, you know what I mean? So much was unknown back then, especially some of the guys going down to Brazil. Like, it's just, man, I'm a history nerd. So for me.
Oh, yeah. Do you hear the stories about people going to Russia and stuff and getting their passport taken and stuff?
Yeah.
You heard those stories?
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So to see where our sports now, like, hey, we're on Paramount and CBS, like, that's so cool because knowing how far we've come.
Yeah. Did you know that about people, they take people's passport in Russia?
You actually said it on a podcast with, I think, Boss Rutan or something. One time you were talking about how when the fighters go, I'll let you tell the story. But
it never happened to me, but I've heard.
Yeah. So you guys, they also talked about back then, it was very hard for the organizations to get visas. So when you had K1 and Pride and all these organizations moving around. But I mean, think about it in today. Look how hard it is for a guy who's the most famous fighter on the planet, Khamzat Chimaev. It took him 2 years. And it took Dana White and the UFC stepping in to get him a visa to come here, right?
Because Dana good with Trump now, so they good.
We're about to have a UFC fight on the White House.
On the White House,
what is going on?
That's crazy.
So could you ever imagine that? You being one of the most iconic fighters, I'm not glazing, one of the most iconic fighters of all time, with the aura you have, could you have ever imagined in your wildest dreams that you would be able to fight on the White House lawn?
Yeah, man, timing is crazy.
20 years ago, they tried to call you human cockfighting.
Yeah,
Senator McCain, I believe it was.
Who, if I make that crazy comeback, who would I fight?
DC, light heavyweight.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it 100. DC would wrestle the fuck out me. It would be a boring ass.
No, not you. We're gonna hire Chael Sonnen to be your wrestling coach.
They're best friends. They're best friends.
No, Chael Sonnen will be your wrestling coach.
Chael Sonnen and DC got a podcast together. They're best friends. Chael Sonnen would sell me out in a second.
They don't like. They
fuck
just
Chael Sonnen.
Fighter against each other.
I would never train with Chael Sonnen.
They wrestle against each other as coaches.
The leg humping motherfucker.
Who leg humped you?
Chael Sonnen.
Where?
When I fought him
in Bellator.
Yeah, Chael. No.
Chael Sonnen has an amazing double leg, an amazing high crotch single leg. But if we bring Chael Sonnen and TJ Dillashaw to coach you, you will be able to take down DC.
I'm gonna tell you. If I ever fight again, here's my coaches: Antonio McKee for wrestling, Lance Gibson for striking, Bobby Rimmer and Yogi for boxing, and I gotta do strength and conditioning. That's what I do.
So that's a solid lineup. Cody. That's a solid lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid lineup.
I mean, there's no weak link
be-
there.
I'll
We'll do a warm up pre-camp with Cody and then send you
We'll
to
do
Sam Calavita.
Rampage versus Anderson Silva.
Oh no,
Oh,
that would be crazy.
Oh, that'd be nuts. But Anderson Silva, that's the homie. And
That's the fam now.
Yeah, we fam.
I'm just saying the dream matchup for us
You
old
a
fans
crazy,
here.
you a diabolical agent.
Fred,
That would be crazy.
That's crazy.
Diabolical. You know that he's here with us all the time. You know his kids.
Did the
are here.
No,
fans-
it's all love. I'm saying like the fans would go nuts for that.
Did the fans want to see me? They wanted to see me. We wasn't even in the same weight class.
Yeah, but he could move up.
But
to
remember, that's when like kind of BJ was going up to 170 a little bit, so people were always flirting about 185 going up to 205, and that's when kind of you were
Middleweight to
champion.
light
You know what I
heavyweight.
mean? So you're kind of wondering like, dude, how would that go? You know, I know GSP and Anderson were kind of discussed for a long time, right? But I mean, Anderson going up, you know.
Who would you think would be an amazing fight if we were being realistic and we were trying to get a contract drawn with Dana White in the UFC for Rampage to come back and fight at the White House? Who would be a good fight for him?
Anderson Silva.
You really think so?
He's standing on that. He's standing.
Anderson
on that.
Silva is trying to fight Chris Weidman right now.
What I'm saying
That's
is
a good
Anderson's someone that has stayed in shape. That if he was to fight, people wouldn't go like, "Hey, that's not a," you know what I mean? Like there's certain fighters that maybe we think we wouldn't want to see back in there. Just let him be. But like Anderson and Rampage are two guys. I mean, I'm just going off the top of my head. That
I would
like,
want a rematch with Forrest Griffin.
that would be great.
Wow.
That would be cool.
That would be
That would be cool.
insane. Especially with how good of in shape he's been staying and where you're at. People would actually appreciate to watch it. I see him training all the time at UFC PI.
I remember where I was exactly. I was at Lawrence Well
When what?
Resort in Escondido when you fought. I remember bugging my parents to make sure we'd stop to go watch that fight.
You would really want to fight him?
Yeah, rematch. Give me the $30 million that John Jones didn't want. Fuck it.
You'll appreciate this. He won that fight, and they did some I think it was Year of the Fighter, some piece on him, and he said that if he could go back, he wished he would have enjoyed it more because after he won, it was just like he was always worried about what the next thing was, right? And he wasn't able to be present. And I've always took that into management, thinking like maybe it's my job to help these guys enjoy it because you know how it is, like you win and like. You know this Rampage. I mean, he said it. He said it in
He felt guilty. He know he didn't win that fight. Deep down, you know deep down when you win or lose a fight.
yeah.
Deep down, Forrest Griffin know he didn't win that fight. That's why he didn't enjoy it.
I always thought they were going to run it back.
Come on, they wanted him to be champion so bad because he was the first ever Ultimate Fighter.
And then what was your next fight? Was that Vonderlei?
Was it? I think you're right.
Because I remember that fight happened.
Yeah. Then I got in all that trouble. Then it came. Yep, you're right. It was Vanderlei. And
I was at that fight. That was the second UFC event I ever went to.
yeah, and everybody counted me out. People thought that Vanderlei had my number.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's my time
Yeah.
to prove the world wrong.
You walked out to that song to him, everything like, oh, he's focused. He's
Yeah,
down. And
yeah,
on
I
the rock,
trained
you walked
really-
out. I forget what you walked
It was
out to.
Van-
It was a crazy,
Vanderlei,
it was a
then
crazy
Keto.
song. I never walked out to that song again.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. I remember being in the crowd going like, oh, he focused.
Yeah, I was focused.
It was Vanderlei, and then it was Keith Jardine. You want both of those?
Keith Jardine was a short notice fight.
Yep.
Right after the fight, I was overtrained. They threw me right into training camp.
You want to hear even crazier story? The night you fought Keith Jardine, I was at my little brother's Little League game, and I was with my dad, and I was going, hey, Dad, I got my first client signed, but I don't know how I'm going to book him a fight. And right now, the guy behind me was talking about who's going to win, you or Jardine, right? And then he asked me my opinion on him. We'd get to talking, and he's like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I just got my first fighter, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And he's like, bro, I work for King of the Cage. I do the Booyah clothing.
I remember those guys.
And he was like, hey man, I can get you a fight in Cortez, Colorado, at a King of the Cage show for your guy. It'll pay $300 a show, $200 to win. I'm like, bro, I don't even care if we paid us at all. Like, I'll take it. And I remember thinking like all that started at a Little League baseball game because I overheard them talking about
That's
who was going to
crazy.
read you or Jardine that
Well,
night.
that's great. What did they say? Did they say Jardine was
No,
going
they
to
said you. Everyone said you
yeah,
that night.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Come on, man.
Bro, that was my first time fighting overtrained. And it's a real thing, bro.
Where were you training at that point? You
England.
left Juanito at that point, right?
I don't even say that
You're
motherfucker
England.
name. Yeah, I left that motherfucker.
You were with England. Okay.
Yeah, I
at
was
that
in
point.
England.
You're with Wolf Slayer, I think it was called, right? Yeah.
Out of the firing pan into the fire, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta ask you a question. I saw in a recent interview, this is kind of off topic, but you just brought it up, that you compared one of the hardest working fighters to Michael Bisping. You said Michael Bisping was one of the hardest working fighters,
Yeah.
and you were comparing him to someone.
With Tito at first, when I was training with Tito, it upped my game because I've never seen anybody train that hard, right?
Tito was a hard worker.
Tito was a hard worker. Then I started training with Michael Bisping. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy? What's his problem? We were training with Flair. They was always trying to tell him to, all right, chill out. And they were trying to tell me to do more because I put it in the media, like I joke around all the time. So I put it in the media that I hate training.
Yeah.
But I do train hard though. I've been honest. I hated when I started getting injuries, but I train hard. But people took that as like I don't train, so I do train hard. So those guys, they were new. I was new with them. They thought I didn't really train, but Bisbing, you had to stop him. You had to stop Bisbing from training. I've never seen nobody work that hard. And then you said Hamza.
You were comparing Armin and Hamzat Chimaev to Bisbing.
Yeah, because
I have so much respect for Bisping. I think
oh, he's a dog, dude.
I think he's a definition of if it's not who's good, it's who's left. Because he stayed here, never got discouraged, kept working his ass off, gets the phone call, steps in, fights. You know, I mean,
I'm gonna tell you who else is a dog in the gym. I train with them. TJ Dillashaw.
Oh yes.
And Juan Archuleta. I train with those guys with Coach Cal, and this guy had us throwing 100-pound medicine balls while we was balancing on one of those Bosu balls. And I saw Juan. I never flipped tires until I trained with Sal. Up a fucking hill, and Juan, he fights at what 155 or something. This motherfucker's so strong, he flipped a 300-pound tire up a hill, ran down, and helped me flip mine. And I'm like, I've never seen people train like this. And when I fought Fedor, I was so out of shape. My health was really bad, but I trained really hard for that fight, right? And people thought I didn't even train because of my condition, how I look. If that fight wasn't in Japan, I would have pulled out. But that's a whole different other story.
Yeah.
But those guys train so hard, and it made me want to up my game. So if I would have got my ass healthy sooner and got back in shape, now I would have, even older, I would have like, this is the type of training that I need to do. And I did learn that from Bisbing. I started training harder once I saw Bisbing and Tito. That's what upped my game when I started training Tito.
People would say that. I know that some people would say that, but I never really understood it because I had known that you'd come from Colin, and there's no way you can be like Colin Saturday track workouts. I'm like, good Lord, I'm good. I don't need any of this.
Ask Colin. I showed up every Saturday. I would go out. If I went out drinking the night before Friday. No. I came back. The only times I didn't show up to the Saturday workout, if I had fought, that way I take a week off that shit. Yeah. That shit was so hard.
He always said you and Shane Rosario were the two best athletes he ever worked with.
Oh wow.
He's a heavyweight.
But he always used to say like it was crazy with you because he'd like, Jason, it wasn't one of those things like you could say, Rampage, go bench 225, and maybe he does something. But Rampage, go pick that freaking car up, and like you just had like this natural brute strength. Like Jason's nothing I've ever seen in my life. He's like, I'm telling you, Rampage had it.
Yeah, but I'm not strong lifting weights.
A month ago, he came in here and outperformed Luke, Loco, our camera guy, producer, our entire team. He basically performed everybody on that push sled with the weight challenge on camera. Like literally, Luke Rockhold's in the best shape out of all of us. I don't know. That guy's a mutant, right?
Yeah, he's always in the gym. Yeah.
And Rampage comes in, and he's in jeans and Timberlands that are this high. Looks like he's wearing stilettos.
Shut the fuck
and
up.
He outperformed everybody. And he literally at the end, he's like huffing and puffing. He's like, bro, it's my mind. I'll never lose. But dude, everybody has said that about you, and I want to actually go into this because then I want to ask you about your mindset. Is that even TJ Dillashaw, who we always have here, of course, is part of the team. He's always said the one thing that made Rampage so different wasn't his technical skill, wasn't his ability to get chicks, wasn't his ability to have good, press interviews and conferences. It definitely wasn't his style. What it was his mindset that he never went into something thinking he was going to lose. He went into everything knowing that he could win. Like he has a very unique mind, right? Yeah. And people talk about an agency having a unique mindset on the growth or having a unique mindset. I heard you talking to Diego Lopez about a contract.
Yeah.
Like I always hear you talking about trying to get the most you can for your guys, trying to make sure you do the most for your guys. Obviously, the bigger their check, the bigger your check because the percentage. But it is cool to see the way you fight for your guys, Yeah. And no pun intended on the wordplay there. What is the common denominator between making sure that you keep them balanced, keep them hungry? Because Rampage, you've always said that the more money you would make, it might take away a little bit of that hunger for these fighters. So the UFC does that. How do you keep your guys so hungry but still give them more money?
I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier in the conversation that you have to, like, say they're on the street level, right? And they're just looking at this next fighter and they're getting their money. They're finally getting these checks they weren't getting before. You kind of have to always change their vision to like a GPS vision. Like, hey man, like, what does happiness look like for you in 20 years? Like, let's have this talk now. You don't want to talk about it, but like to say that, don't have a plan B, it takes away from plan A. In fighting, you need a plan A 2.0. It's going to come to an end. Not everyone lands on their feet like Rampage and does podcasting and promoter and all the things that you have going on and still have a relationship with endorsement deals that you have. Like not everyone ends up like that. So you have to constantly let them understand, like, this is yes, you're having a lot of success now. Let's celebrate that success, but also let's stay very hungry because we need the success to last 30, 40 years, right? In our sport, it's very fickle. Like, a guy loses, and man, I love our fans, but they can be very harsh sometimes, right? I mean, those, online and some of the boards that people run, like, I mean, they're really harsh on fighters if they have a bad night. So we can't always rely on performances in the cage, because the chances are, if you roll the dice enough, you're going to land on some sixes. You're going to lose, And so you just have to prepare fighters and keep them hungry by just kind of moving the marker a little bit for them.
That reminds me, I want to ask you a question. I have some plans. Hopefully all my plans work out.
Yeah.
But I want to start like producing my own movies and like series, TV shows, and I have like MMA fighters in mind. Mm-hmm. Can I hit you up sometime?
Yes, please.
And what about live streams? Can I, if there's a way that the fighter can come on the stream and promote their sponsors and get paid? Because
love that.
Yeah, because some of the clips get millions of views.
No, I know you're crushing it. You're crushing, and you're a good example to the guys. I'm not saying it because you're here, but I use a lot of people from your generation that are doing success. Guys, this is what it needs to look like, because we don't have many examples. Rampage, we don't. We're 33 years old. It's not a lot of time, right? We don't have a lot of history, or 32, whatever years. But we need to show these guys. That's one thing I want to do, is band together. You know what I mean? That's why I respect for Tiki and some of these other good managers that are out there, because inevitably we need to help make sure these guys are okay after fighting.
Yeah.
Some of the deals that Tiki did for you now are paying dividends today, right? I mean, that's the key.
Yeah.
What was the big client? What was your big home run, your first one?
I mean, I always say it's probably the first client that ever gave a chance to sign with you, which was LaRon Wilson, right? I mean, he opened the door for me. He gave me a chance to work with someone, right? And then your first UFC fighter was Ruben Duran. And I mean, if he didn't believe in me and trust me, we were the same age. I had no track record that I could get him into the UFC. The fact that he believed in me and stuck by me, and I mean, us getting to the UFC, we were two kids with Ruben in his second UFC fight, I'll tell this story. He got the bonus. We were so excited, we left to go eat at a buffet. Like, we forgot the check. They called us back, and you remember these days, Rampage, before you saw it, they called us like, hey, do you want to come get your check? Like, oh, we get it tonight? We pulled up into the Palms Valet. The lady walks out and hands us a check for $50,000. This is the most money me and Ruben had ever seen at that point in time. And I remember he had like a little credit union bank, and he was like, bro, you got to deposit in your bank. And then we were joking around, like, should we pull out 10K? Should we pull out? Like, let's not pull it out. Let's not go blow it off in Sin City. But, I think those, for early people that believe in you, those are your biggest clients, because those are the ones that open the door. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have the Brandon Morenos or the Chito Veras or Diego Lopez's or any of these guys, right? Like, you wouldn't have those opportunities as early guys.
Do you guys take a cut of the fighter night bonus and all this type of stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have to talk about all that first, so that way a fighter's not hit with that blindly, or do they know?
I mean, our agreement, I'll be completely transparent, is like 2 pages long. It's real simple, and we keep it that way. But it's good. It's good to, when you're forming a relationship, to just get everything on the table right off the rip. You know what I mean? Hey, if I'm going to come home with half my money when you lose, then when you win, I should be able to eat as well. You know what I mean? And kind of break that down. And then once you establish, the confines of the relationship, then you have a more successful relationship. Bobby Green's been with me for freaking 16 years,
What happened to Bobby Green this last fight?
He tore his meniscus.
Oh, really?
Yes. I need to send him a text. Yeah. I didn't even know until the night.
And I mean, Bobby's one of my best friends. I love Bobby.
He's a great guy.
You know what me and Bobby have been through? I fought him with Bobby at San Manuel, any casino. I've been all over the world with this guy. Like, I mean, when he retires, I'm gonna be emotional. He's lived a hell of a career.
He ain't never retiring, so don't worry.
So did they scrap the whole fight, or did somebody jump in on his opponent last minute?
They scrapped the whole fight. Yeah.
That was a good question you asked yesterday during the pod, because we couldn't figure that part out.
Yeah.
Because you were asking.
Yeah, they scrapped the whole fight. I think they're trying to rebook it, and Bob's a warrior. He's trying to get back in the race. I'm telling him to take his time, get healthy.
Hey, have Bobby Green go over to Colombia and holler at BioAccelerator, get stem cells.
No, they're the best.
They're the best.
They're the best.
You should do it, because it's about our bodies. We got to be close to 100 as we can be.
Yep.
And those guys help me out. They help me out so much.
I'm probably going to call Joey over there and talk to him about Bob, honestly. Yeah, but BioAccelerator is amazing. Been freaking phenomenal for me.
What happened at Brian Battle?
Missed weight.
He's your guy?
Yeah.
And why did he miss weight again? Because I like him. I defend him on podcasts, but what happened? Do you have any idea? Without talking anything bad?
I don't think he'd be upset with me saying this. To my understanding, he usually comes in at a certain weight. When he was making 185, he was 2 pounds below what he usually comes in to make 185. But I think because his body was adapting still from 170, I think he had a hard time with the cut, and he couldn't make the weight.
Okay, so bring me up to speed. So he went down to 170.
Mm-hmm. He went up to 170. He fought there 3 or 4 times, but he missed weight twice there. I think he made weight half the time, or 2 out of 4 times. I believe.
Every other fight he missed weight.
Okay, they moved to 185. Well, in the past when he fought at 185, like I'm just throwing this out for the sake of it, I don't know the exact numbers, but say like he would always come in on fight week at 205, and he was able to make 185. He said, "Hey, I came in at 2 pounds under," so he came in at 203, and usually he was able to make that cut, but his body shut down. He couldn't do it. I think maybe he's getting a little older. Maybe he has to get a little more in striking range. Yeah, I think I think a lot of times younger fighters were able to make these bigger cuts, and I think his body's kind of resisting it.
Yeah, as I got older, I always started walking around it heavier and heavier, and then you get this less discipline with your diet and off season, and the more famous or popular you get, the more demand you get, and then you don't get back into the gym as often. Like before, when I was younger, I would after my fight take a week off.
Yeah.
Then I was back in the gym training like 6 days a week, and just not training for a fight, but just
training,
and getting better.
Yeah.
And then the more popular you get, you doing more stuff, you messing around with more girls, you hanging out, doing all this stuff, and then you start, I got to fight. Then you get back into the gym, and then now that camp is most in the beginning it's about losing weight instead of like fighting and training again, and that's what normally happens.
Bear Rampage actually nails it on the head, because when you get success, you want to capitalize on all the opportunities you get outside the cage because success, but then you're also balancing the training and maintaining the success, which occurs by winning fights inside the cage. So you're kind of doing this thing like, hey, do you want to go to this appearance and get paid X amount of dollars? Oh yeah, of course. We're gonna fly you here, fly you there, and I mean, you're kind of balancing that. You're
not on your diet, you're drinking, you're not taking in your water intake. This is a weird thing a lot of people don't understand too. When you train for a fight, you're drinking at least a gallon of water. Most people, you drink a gallon of water a day, right? And your body gets used to a certain thing. And then when you outside of training camp, and as soon as my fight's over, I'm not drinking a gallon of water a day because I got a small bladder. I'd be going to the restroom all day. I don't want to do that when I'm not training, right? But then your body starts holding water. It's all these things factor up, right? And then we don't think about the little small things. Now you bloated and you look big, you got all this water on you because you're not taking so much water, and then he's changing the weight class.
It's really heartbreaking for me because I know how hard Brian works, and so I know he's getting a lot of heat online right now.
Well, it says right here, breaking news on Twitter that he got cut from the UFC.
He did. He got cut by the UFC today. Yeah.
Today. So what would you do with a client like that? Would you talk to like ONE FC or PFL?
We're going to have to go field some offers, and then we're going to have to, in times of adversity like this, we say less and just show them with our actions. We have to go out there and remind people of the amazing fighter that he is, because he puts on great fights. We got to go make weight a few times and then get our way back. I think one thing we've seen with the UFC is they've brought a lot of guys back, right? I think Anthony Johnson had issues making weight at one point in his career. Rest in peace, Anthony Johnson, one of the first fighters I ever loved him to death. Yeah. And then I use him as a good example of persevering and making the adjustments and coming back to the UFC. And so I'm really hoping that we can do the same.
I would love to see Battle fight in dirty boxing.
Oh, wow. Bare knuckle.
Yeah.
He'd probably get a bag fighting in bare knuckle.
I personally don't.
The Butcher?
Yeah, but dirty boxing is
at least they got gloves.
I like the gloves. I'm nothing against bare knuckle, but you know what I'm saying? I think
you're just not into the whole
just me.
You want more of a sport out of it. What the glove gives you.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never sat down and watched the bare knuckle event, so I can't comment on it. But I've seen like clips and stuff like that. It just for me that and the slapping shit is just not for me. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, is it easier for you to kind of sit down with Brian Battles, being an agent who has had to have gone that before? I mean, we saw what you did with like Yusuf Zalal, right?
Yeah.
A guy getting cut and then coming back and going on a tear. So if there's anybody that can speak from their heart and have a genuine conversation about it, you could be a guy saying, hey, Brian, like I've done this before with someone. We could do it again. Is that the conversation you have to have?
Yeah, it's the exact conversation. The conversation actually occurred today. I told Brian, like, I love you. You don't have to apologize. We're all human. We all make mistakes. I'm riding with you till the end. Let me gather some offers and some opportunities. Take a couple of days to digest this, and we'll sit down and we'll game plan. We'll reverse engineer the next 6 months to a year, and we'll get back on the horse.
Do you feel that the UFC is probably like too strict, like releasing this contract? Don't you think they should open up a different system, like maybe like finding the fighters if they miss weight a couple of times, or like especially somebody like Battle, because he is a draw. He's great on the mic and stuff like that. He's exciting to fight. Instead of cutting him, maybe they should do some type of suspension, like some type of punishment, like, oh shit, this is hurting my back. but not just because it's their career, and the UFC is the biggest show right now. You know,
It's a great question you pose, because I've thought about this too in the past, not just with missing weight, but just with things in general. Like, if there's a way to like impose suspensions, because like I think we're the only sport that doesn't. I mean, I guess if you fail the drug test, a commission would suspend you. But I'm saying I think in other leagues, correct me if I'm wrong, like NFL or MLB, I think that they hand out suspensions for mistakes or you know, or violations of conduct or whatever. I wonder, you know, if there ever comes a time in our sport where we implement something like that, right? Like if you make a certain mistake, you get suspended 6 months, you get suspended a year, or you're not eligible for bonuses for a certain period of time, or I don't know, something, you know what I mean? Where, you know, obviously I would like to, in this situation, obviously I'm probably pro for that, right? I'd wanted something to give Brian one more chance. You know, I think the hard part was hard for us in the situation is that we missed weight at 170 the previous fight, and then this fight we missed weight at 185.
Yeah,
that's kind of what was hard.
yeah.
Who asked him to move up? The UFC or you?
Yeah.
Oh
UFC.
yeah.
Oh, so the UFC asked him to move up and then he missed it again. I'm not trying to rub it in, but that's the real story.
Yeah, bro.
But why
The
didn't
way you
nurse-
worded it, bro. The way you owe the manager an apology. You
Brother,
rubbed it in
on
bro.
a podcast. I defended Brian Battles.
But
I
right
don't know
now,
if you saw that.
you rubbed it in because you said the UFC asked him and he missed weight again. You
It's
got
his guy. It's on him.
No, you owe him an
I'm
apology.
kidding. But listen, do I need to say sorry? Or no?
Yeah, you do.
All right. How about that? So listen. So what?
Yeah.
That guy. Do you always roll around with the valet guy? He just rolls in here with you. So one thing I want to ask you about.
You said he was the director of food and beverage. Now you say he's the valet guy.
Hey,
Like
honestly,
Bro.
hey, time out. Come over here real quick because I got to give him his flowers. No lie. Come over here real quick for 3 seconds. Hold all your jokes, Rampage. No Taco Bell jokes. Over here, real quick, so the audience sees you. So for everybody at home that wants to know how all these athletes and fighters from the Iridium team kind of come out here and then participate in the Jaxxon Media House and Sanso Performance Studio, do their camps and do everything. One of the hardest working agents I know from the ground level. I knew this kid when he was young. He was playing paintball at SC Village. He's a great guy. And the one thing I want anybody out there who's thinking about managing people, managing talent, social media, content creators like yourself, Rampage, if people want to be out there managing people, there's one trait I think you have to have more than anything, and it's integrity. And this guy is one of the most honorable dudes, and I'm not glazing him because he charges me a yin-yang. No deals with this guy, so I don't need to glaze him. But the one thing I always loved about him, we could trust him. When it came to tickets, when it came to making sure people showed on time for shoots, making sure deals were done, exclusives, what categories do you gotta get? There's a lot that goes into signing an athlete, right? From the top bottom of a brand. What can they wear? What can they not wear? What do they have to shoot? When do they have to post? Me personally, dealing with them and Rampage, you probably know this firsthand. I just kind of say, hey, it's a relationship. Let's see what works.
Yeah.
I try not to put any hard deliverables because then it really makes it hard. It's not authentic. People see right through it. And they've been instrumental at kind of rewriting the playbook with myself on how MMA athletes can work with clothing brands and jewelry brands. And they've done a lot of big deals. They brought a lot of big brands to the UFC and to their fighters. They helped manage Chito Vera's career and a lot of the relationship I have with him, Diego Lopez. You know, I think it's amazing when you have a good community and a good team similar to like Rampage. What you've done here with our podcast and producing team makes it a family environment. And when it becomes not a job and everybody knows each other and it's fun, the relationship just flourishes. And I feel like as a team, you guys have done great. I know he's your next one up. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. But I'm just trying. We got Jabba the Hutt, so we're good. But I'm trying. Not you. I meant like we have one over there.
No, he pointed right
No,
in.
don't do all
I'm
that.
waiting for the day Rampage cracks you.
He's already done it.
I'm literally
He's done it 3
waiting
times.
for the day.
The amount of, bro, the whole internet, first of all, and it's not a bad thing, but they all think I'm Jewish because of Rampage. And now everybody thinks that I like dudes, which is not a bad thing if you do, but I don't. And it's like the things and Krima Sung Young Guy, are you kidding me? It's on every Reddit page. So don't ask me anything, brother. I go home, I pull up to Nobu and the guy goes, Krima Sung Young Guy? I go, no. I go miso soup and some hibachi, brother. Like, come on. I put up with a lot, so he's going to deal with that. But no, I want to give you guys your flowers on that. It's been years in the making, and Jaxxon as a jewelry brand, half of the success we have in the MMA space is because of this agency, and Rampage, of course, with the guidance and TJ. But it's good. So 2 more things I want to wrap this up with. Number 1 is, how is it that you kind of work with athletes and help them flourish? We see one of the hardest working kids. Once again, not glazing, guys. I'm here every day, and I live here. One of the hardest working kids in the game, Nick Maximov, goes from being, with the Nate Diaz crew and the Fight My Boy guy, shout out to Hamza Chimaev, and then is able to kind of flip a whole new script, right? So this guy not only is in the gym every day, not only is he with Coach Perillo and his striking has become phenomenal, he's done some grappling with Coach Bernardo here, and he was involved with some of the camps with Khalil Roundtree and Shesha. But Now he's getting a fight every other month and he's winning. He's on a 5-0 win streak this year. He looks more than ever ready to go to the UFC, and he's a Jaxxon and Santos studio athlete. Like, how do you get an athlete like that now to bridge back into the UFC? Is that hard? Is it easy? Do you call Dana, hey, do me a favor? What's the word?
I mean, I think getting in the UFC the first time is hard. Staying there is even harder. Coming back a second time is the hardest, right? But I think what credit to Nick is that he's staying true to the process. I think a lot of times what we've seen, I think in this period of time with athletes, that sometimes guys may get in a little too soon, right? And they're green. You know, Nick showed a lot of promise back then. That's why he got in that early. And he had some success, had a couple good UFC wins, right? And now, like, just seeing his evolution and seeing the work that he's putting in every day, like, I feel like he's really evolved, and you could see it every fight. You know, had a great knockout here. 5-fight win streak, everything he's doing. I think he's paying the price he needs to pay to develop, because I really feel like, man, for every fighter it's different, but I think mostly you get that in Rampage. You may agree to, like, I think around like fight 15, fight 20, then you really start finding your groove, or you really start finding your rhythm. Like in boxing, that's very normal, right? You don't really have a big fight till fight 15 or 20, somewhere in that ballpark, right? Like in MMA, you know, there's guys 5 or 6-0 in Contender Series last night, right? That are fighting for contracts. So it's just a much different thing. And so, like, just to see his growth, see the effort he's putting in with Perillo, over here with Cody, over here with the whole team at Santos Studio, like, I mean, Nick's a definition. I mean, it's not who's good, it's who's left. He's going to stay around. He's going to get a second shot, and I think he's going to do very well, and he deserves it. I mean, he's still very young. I think he's, 27, 26 years old?
How much impact do you think Nick is having on his mindset and his confidence? Because we've seen it skyrocket since he got with Coach Perillo, along with having Cheeto Vera around him, Mackenzie Dern.
Mean, we see it so many times. Like with every fight, a guy starts finding their rhythm and finding their steam, and then you can see when it clicks every fight more and more confidence, maybe in their striking or their grappling or their wrestling, whatever it may be. And I think it's gonna be really good to see, and I'm really excited for his future.
And then the last thing I have for you, one of the most talked about events of the year was the fiasco with Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez, and the midnight operation backdoor deals. I heard $100,000 in cash in a Santos Studio duffel bag went underneath the table. Jacob told me that. A few Jet Suite X flights, and all of a sudden, you know, I see Dynamite Dan on his way, 50K Ige, showing up. I mean, walk me through what actually happened, and is it true that someone gave you guys $100,000 cash in a Santos Studio duffel bag to take the fight?
Diego was actually staying at my house.
So it's true.
he was staying at my house, and we were training, but not really like training for anything in particular. We had just won at UFC 300 in April, so we were still kind of, enjoying ourselves with the aftermath of that. And Hunter had called and said, hey, if I can get Brian Ortega in 2 weeks, would you guys be willing to step in on IFW? And we're like, yeah, we'll step in. Hunter being Hunter, he got the deal done, got the fight made. That's why they're the best in the business. And we trained for 2 weeks. Obviously, Diego had some injuries in that fight during camp with the shoulders and stuff. And then everything was going good till the night of weigh-ins. And that's when, Ortega was having a hard time with the weight cut. They asked us to do 155 after we'd already made 145. We said yes. Then the day of the fight, they called us about 2 hours before we got to the arena and said, hey, Ortega's out. We need you to fight Ige at 165. We said yes, and then we went in there and won the fight. Obviously, there's a lot in between that, negotiations and making sure everything was good. The UFC definitely took care of us, and Diego made a very nice payday on that one.
You got the bag of $100,000 in cash in the Santos Studio duffel bag before or after the fight, or is that not true?
You said it.
Yeah.
You said it.
Yeah, but I just said
you mailed it in.
Did that happen or no?
We carried our purse in that Santos Studio bag. Yes.
Hey, can I just tell you something? The craziest photo of the year is seeing Diego walk out of wherever they fought. Where did they fight that night?
T-Mobile.
Was it T-Mobile or the Sphere?
T-Mobile.
Oh, it was T-Mobile. I was at the Sphere thinking that's where the fight was. That's why I missed it. But them walking out of the Apex Arena, they got this bag, Santos Studio duffel bag, just cash flying everywhere. At first, I was like, that's either rubies from Armin or pesos from one of Diego's friends. Then I saw those $100 bills. I go, oh my God, we are rich.
No cap.
Bro, I've never seen so much money in my life.
Quit lying. He a billionaire.
I came from the trenches.
But listen, let's understand. Diego made a bag the night, yes. But he also agreed to short notice to fight Brian Ortega, one of the best fighters in the world, on 2 week notice.
Great.
Made weight at 45. Agreed to fight Ortega at 55, giving up weight to another amazing, again, Ortega's a stud. And then he took Ige at 65. And actually, to be honest, we weighed less than Ige did, on that third weigh-in.
Hey, Ige's a dog. Ige is
No,
a
he
dog.
is. He is.
For him to step in like that and then pull up with, Eric and Sean Strickland. What a cool experience for everybody.
And I remember I'd spoken to Eddie Chaw, Korean Zombies coach, one of my dear good friends, Eddie. And
we love Eddie, by the way.
Yeah, he's amazing.
My God. Him and Rampage. Oh, they
Yeah.
had a field day with Korean Zombie in downtown
Oh my
Koreatown.
gosh.
Well, Zombie had said
Sorry,
that.
I'm not going to cut you off.
No,
This
you
guy
couldn't.
got everybody hammered.
Quit lying. You cutting them off.
No, I heard about Rampage and
Okay.
Zombie. And
And you heard about the 5 girls Rampage took home that night?
Would not shock me.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Zombie had said that Ige was one of the hardest hitters he ever fought. And so that kept going through my mind. Eddie had told me he said this. So I kept thinking like, damn, like if Diego made one mistake in this fight, it could be a wrap. It could be a good night. So Diego definitely deserves his flowers and roses, whatever you want to call it, that night because he stepped up to 3 different weight classes, changed opponents. He fought a very game Dan Ige. And
That's what fighting's all about, man. You just go out there and you fight, You just go out there.
I'll never forget it because
What's the most you've ever been paid in cash at a fight?
100K.
Oh, and where was that? Pride or UFC?
K1 and
But it was actual bills?
yeah, $10,000.
And they just leave it in your room or what?
No, you going
Colin said that you guys, every time you guys would go back, you guys would have to like hide money and
yeah.
like tape it to each other.
Yeah.
Wait,
Different
like
in those
back
days.
then though, because we've talked about this on podcast though, like right now, because the audience never knew this, and Wayne, we talked about this in the Jaxxon podcast Discord, that you guys get your checks from the Athletic Commission or whatever, or Nevada Gaming.
well,
or Nevada.
now it's wired. Now they wire it to you.
Okay, got it. But I guess it's prepaid, right, into like the commission, and the commission pays you that night. Is that how it works in
I
Vegas?
believe that works with certain commissions. I'm not sure about Nevada.
Well, how
because
does it work in Vegas? How do you get your money that night?
we don't get the money that in Vegas. The UFC wires us on Monday. The money.
Oh, got it. For your whole purse.
Yeah, and I'd be glad. Getting a check of that amount. I wouldn't be walking around Las Vegas with that. Take it all, cash it,
what
bet it
about
on red.
your bonuses?
Because you can cash that shit in the casino.
Yeah. The bonuses they come 6 to 8 weeks after the fight once the drug test clears.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what happens if the drug test doesn't clear? Do you have to give back the purse money?
No, but you don't get the bonus money.
Oh my God! So some people just be like getting screwed. They just say, "Hey, you."
Well,
pissed
I mean,
off.
if you didn't get the bonus money, it's because you failed the drug test.
Yeah.
So you're not getting screwed. You failed the test. Like you
Well,
don't
hey,
deserve.
Well, they won't screw you. They won't lie and say, "Oh, you failed the test." So you
got
get the
it.
bonus. They won't.
Yeah.
Do
they
that.
got to show you the results.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't do that. UFC, one thing about them, they're not shady like that. They won't screw you over.
No, I mean, why would they be? They have the whole world in their hand. I don't think they need to do that.
No, they don't need to do that.
And they're making money. And last thing, real quick, I just remembered another question we had on the Jaxxon podcast Discord was: is it the Chicago Athletic Commission told you guys that if Brian was over a certain amount of weight, they had to cancel the fight, or was it Nurse Stallone didn't want to take the fight because he had his camp here with Hamzat Chimaev?
Yeah. No. We could have fought. Nursultan's camp said no, and that's why they canceled the fight.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, and that's their prerogative. We missed weight. That's on us.
I got a serious question. Do you manage Chi Wee Wees?
I do.
Can you get me a T-shirt? I love that kid.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah, I will.
Raul
Sure,
Rosas
I'll
Jr.
get
is our
you-
favorite.
Yeah.
He was one of our first guys here. He came.
Well, they
supported
just
the whole
announced his
movement.
fight today. He's the co-main event of Noche against
I just
Rob
saw
Font.
it.
So
Oh yeah, they did.
Against Rob Font. That's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
he is one of the most focused young men I've ever met. At his age, what he's done, I mean, I got to be honest, because he was kind of that first generation of guys you're signing when they're 16 years old, and you're like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. He's only 16. Like, man, I got to say, his family and him have been nothing but amazing. I
can
love him to
tell.
death.
Yeah,
Like,
How do you do it?
Chi Wee Wees.
One more time.
Shut up.
It's my favorite.
I mean, my nephew's 4. He runs around the house saying "chewies." You know what I mean?
Everybody does.
Like
It's the
everyone
funniest
does. It. It's
thing.
hilarious. It's really cool. And I'm
His burger just released.
Oh yeah, well, Carl's Jr. Is that
Yeah.
who it's with?
He had his own burger
Yes.
with Carl's
come on,
Jr.
Yes.
Rampage. Come on.
Yes.
Man,
Come
huh?
on.
Yes.
Come on.
And he
burger.
did the commercial. It's
burger.
the Chewee's burger.
Chewee's
Is it
burger.
Chi Wee Wees burger? You did
yes.
that deal?
Yes.
We can't hear you. You got to talk in the mic.
We originally did it, and it was just like a social media concept. Like it was just like, oh hey, this is
I gotta find it. Real
this
quick.
is the Chiwiwi's like his burger. Well then like he's massive on TikTok. So then
Yeah.
people started going to Carl's Jr. and saying, hey, can we get the Chiwiwi's burger? And they're like, what is that? Well then we just got so many requests for it. Carl's Jr. ended up bringing it out, and yeah, he.
All right, I'm calling my manager right now. I'm finna fire him. Can you get me Tiki? I want a Chewee's Burgers deal, nigga. No, I'm not gonna say Chewee's. I'm gonna make up something else. A D's Nuts Burger.
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
He hung up in my face.
Let me get one.
He said these nuts burgers won't sell. He hung up in my face.
Loves that. Loves the D's Nuts burger.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's good. That's a
Yeah.
good deal.
Hey, honestly, everything you've done for your fighters, we could tell that they have respect for you. They have love for you. Obviously, we have a lot of love and respect for everything you've done for us. I wish you guys nothing but the most success. Hopefully, you guys could sign some more fighters.
Yes.
And we see what else is going on. I know you guys have a lot going on with David Taylor and all these wrestlers.
Yep.
And I know they're going big into wrestling. Oh my God, Carl's Jr. Chihuihuis. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I can't see this guy eating a fried burger.
I'll eat a Chihuahua.
How cool is that?
Oh, this is on Carl's Jr.'s page.
Yeah.
Wow, this is great for the sport too.
How's the burger doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Chihuahuas.
He just renewed with them.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. As a manager, my brand, you know what my brand is. It's crazy. I say fucked up shit.
Dildos. Yep, Rampage dildos.
Bob Sapp has that.
No, he doesn't.
In Japan, I bullshit you not. I bullshit you not. They have Bob Sapp dildos in Japan.
Okay, good.
You can buy,
He's like,
I don't know how big his
no,
dick
I'm saying,
is.
but no, I'm saying, but Bob, no, I'm saying Bob Sapp in Japan, though, I'm saying is like,
Oh, yeah.
he's
huge.
a very big deal, right?
Yeah, he's a
Like,
big deal, yeah.
Go on. Please go on.
Okay, yeah.
Don't
I wasn't
worry
gonna ask about
Bob Sapp's pieces, dog. Continue. How do you even know?
I was in the
You
Japan
was
market.
waiting?
Shut up. I was over there in Japan. Like
Buying
he's
what?
had this deal for a long time. You can buy it at the Don Quixote.
I don't wanna hear about
you know
that. Ask your question, please.
You know what the Don Quixote is? It's a store that go and it sells everything from cars to fucking condoms. It's just a crazy store. It sells everything. And you got the Bob Sapp dildo on that motherfucker. You buy TV. You pick up a TV. You pick up a Bob Sapp dildo. Give it to your friend Bear.
Walk right out,
Yeah,
dog.
walk right out of there.
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. With my brand, how abrasive I am, and like people are always worried I'm gonna get canceled and stuff like that. You think it's hard for a person like me to get like big brand deals and stuff
No.
like that? You don't think so?
no, you're a legend.
You think you can get me some deals? Do I gotta fire? Do I gotta fire my manager?
No.
I'm not gonna say
You're
No, I'm not
firing
fighting. I'm not fighting deals, but
You're not firing Tiki.
Tiki's gonna
I
call
said,
me
I'm
in
just saying,
6
could you go like
Yeah.
because Tiki don't do those stuff. He just do the fight stuff. He don't do all the other stuff.
Tiki, I did not approve of this message.
Fuck
Don't
that.
come
Tiki,
here.
Tiki, I'm trying to make that bag. I got 2 kids
Oh,
in
now
college.
you a tough guy with Tiki. You was
You
a
got 2
tough
kids
guy.
in college?
Now
That's
he's a
cheap.
tough guy
That
with
ain't
Tiki.
cheap.
Okay.
I got 2 kids in
Okay.
college.
Real quick though, before we let you go, I do
Yes.
got to ask you 2 questions or
Okay.
one more thing real fast because I know we got to wrap up. He's got a big date with this Thai girl.
Shut the fuck up.
What's
I got
her
a
name?
stream. I got
her name?
a stream plan.
What's her
today.
name? Or what's his name? I don't
I
care.
got
What's the name?
today on my stream. I'm learning Vietnamese, and then I got to go on a field trip and try to practice the Vietnamese that I'm learning today.
What's the word that you want to learn?
I want to learn. I want to ask a Vietnamese girl in a very nice way. Can I take you out on a date? Instead of
Goes out the other night, live stream, comes home, he has 3 girls already in his house. And I'm like, what do you just give them the door combo or something? Oh, by the way, I saw Tiki in the video leaving the nightclub over there at Country Club at Mesa, whatever it's called.
Why are you off subject?
Because 3 girls coming up to him in the parking lot. And they were like, oh my God, Rampage. And he has 3 models fall in love with him. I go, all right, Rampage is the man. His Riz game is through the roof right now. They call him the Rizzler or the Jizzler. They call him something crazy like that. So he's leaving.
what?
Mesa, yeah, because he got Riz. He's on TikTok, so all the terminology. So he leaves Mesa. He goes to his house. And somehow I'm sure Tiki knew the combo or something. Maybe they use the same combo. They share it, the front door. But I hear the girls on the live stream. And there's 3 girls in his kitchen. And I'm like, wait, he just has girls waiting for him in his kitchen. Then him and his cousin are hammered. And they just had like a 5-something. I don't know what it's called.
No, he didn't.
What
No,
did
he
you guys
didn't.
do?
You can't do this type of shit on live stream.
Whatever you guys did, they
We
were
all
yelling
just hanging
and
out.
screaming at each other.
We just hanging out.
And this is all live.
With girls.
And it's at 2 a.m. So they have this thing, text to talk. So randomly you hear, John Jones paid $5 to say, Rampage, you're a pussy. And I'm dying.
And it's him.
I'm dying.
It's
I'm like,
him.
I'm like, why would John Jones need to say
It's
that?
him.
It's not me.
He's doing it.
It's
He's
not
paying
me.
the fucking speaker to talk shit on me in my live stream. And then
It's not me. Then it's like
For $5?
And
Yeah.
then it's like, Vanderlei Silva paid $5. Rampage, you ugly as fuck. And I'm just like, what in
Are you
the
Vanderlei
world?
cool?
I don't know. You manage him too?
No.
I don't know if we cool. I like him.
That probably means you're not.
You know what? I've always been a fan of Vanderlei. That's something that he probably don't know. I first saw Vanderlei at UFC 20. The same time I met Kevin Rounderman, and I wasn't even a fighter then. And Vanderlei, I saw him knock the guy out with his knee, and he tapped his knee and spent around.
Yeah.
I was there at that fight because the guy who got me started fighting, he fought in UFC 20 when he was 17.
Oh, I remember, yes.
Yeah, you remember? I don't want to say his name.
Yeah, I know. We won't say his name.
Yeah, you
Yep,
know. Yeah,
yep, yep.
'Cause he turned out to be a fucking snake. And I saw Vanderlei say, like, oh, I always was a fan of that guy, but I think Vanderlei.
Not to bring it up, but that is one of the things that shocked me the most.
What? Oh, that he did. Yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
Rampage, I grew up here.
yeah.
I was there for the gym. I saw everything that went. I was like, no way.
Yeah. The problem is that guy didn't even have to screw me over with that gym. He the one who started me to got me into fighting and stuff like that. He brought me out here to California. I used to stay on his couch with him and his wife. Wow. And I met Fabiano Ihar from him. So I don't know if he noticed, but every time I talk to him, we could be talking about anything else, and I always end the phone call with, thank you, and hung up the phone. Anything he asked me anything he asked me for, I did it. He wanted a gym, I did it. He wanted a truck, I did it. Anything they got. It wasn't from him. I never would have even knew about MMA. So every day I told him thank you, and that's the type of person I am.
No, that's good. I think it's good that people you do that. That sometimes people forget those that were there from those early days. That's really cool to see that. But it was really sad. I was I was like, wow, that's
it is what it is. I don't care about the money I lost with the gym, stuff like that. But I knew this guy since high school.
Yeah.
We wrestled together in high school.
Yeah.
So it was a sick gym. I went.
Oh yeah.
The Liso Viejo one.
Oh,
you
yeah.
trained there?
Yeah. No, I would go. We were doing merch. I was a young kid. Rampage was so nice and let me do some stuff with him. One of my first guys I ever worked with, but treated me like I don't know why.
So are you showing him the respect that he was showing that person because he was there?
Who?
Bear?
Bear?
Are you showing Rampage that respect?
I always show Rampage respect.
Yeah, Bear's
Off camera, I always make sure Rampage is number one.
Yeah, listen, real talk. Off camera, me and Bear, we
I'm just
really good.
giving Bear shit.
We were good friends, but because the fans probably DM him and stuff like that.
The Discord, you're probably getting.
Oh, the Discord, I should never even go in that thing. First of all, I post this photo. Everybody doesn't think I'm natural or natty.
No, he's not natty.
All they do is leave me the emojis of the
I mean, let's just do a piss test.
Exactly.
That's what I've been saying. So what's up? You saw that they come here.
Let's do it live. Let's do it live on my stream.
Hey, we should do a piss test. We'll get more plates, more dates to come on here and analyze your results. And
I would love to do a live piss test and show you guys what a premium athlete looks like in today's time.
And yeah, that's on PEDs.
I don't even know how to spell PED.
You
just
know
did.
What
I'm saying?
You just did.
You get what I'm saying here?
He's on
what I'm saying?
You just did.
Yeah.
Hey, but all the bullshit aside, fuck Tiki. He ain't gonna get mad at me.
I love Tiki.
Yeah, can we do some outside deals like endorsements and stuff like that?
Yes.
Because the pod is popping off.
Yes.
Jacob House Iridium.
No. Don't get the stream is popping off. I need money.
Yes, we can do
bring
it.
me some money.
You're rich.
I need some.
You were rich.
I got 2 kids in college, and my daughter wants a motherfucking apartment in fucking New York.
He built
An apartment in New York?
Yes.
She want an apartment in cars and shit.
And instead of doing that, he built a Hard Rock Cafe mimic replica pool in his backyard with a Cabo Cantina vibe. And he's got tikis everywhere, no pun intended. And then he's got these luau things and 14 strippers. Every Monday or Tuesday for Taco Tuesday, he spells taco T-A-K-O.
I mean, that sounds like a great time to me.
I don't think he needs money.
I need money. My daughter said she want an elaborate wedding, and I got to pay for it because she want to be traditional. Bring me money.
He's married.
No, she's going to get married soon. Well, she's 18. She been talking about her wedding fucking since she was a kid.
She has a boyfriend?
Well, she just started talking to this new guy.
Oh, you gonna have an expensive wedding to put on.
Yeah, I need some deals.
You need what? What did you just say?
You guys heard what I said.
Yeah.
What you said.
Wait, what did you just say? Because I'm gonna it's gonna get clipped.
Yeah, here we go.
It's gonna get clipped, so just repeat it properly.
Everybody heard what I said.
You need.
Come on, let's end this podcast. Jason House, thank you so
sir.
much for coming in here and teaching us a lot about being a manager. One last thing I want to know: what's the best part of being a manager? I've been meaning because he keep cutting me off. What's the best part of being a manager though?
Being a small part of someone changing their life. I think that's really cool. And I think you can see our sport, you can do that. Our sport's one of the only sports you can enter a peasant and leave a prince. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the coolest things in the world.
Man, we need more managers like that. And I heard football need people like you too, because a lot of athletes.
I did football for 3 years and I walked.
They get screwed over a lot.
Because you're just a cog in the wheel and you can't affect change. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to micromanage or oversee, but you're just part of the problem. And it's like seeing these athletes go broke or seeing them, have hard identity issues when they get cut from the football teams. It just wasn't.
You know what it's like? What people don't understand it. You know what it's like? It's like if you in a relationship and you keep getting cheated on, right?
Yeah.
Then you go to another relationship, you're not going to trust again, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard for managers. Like for me, I got screwed over a lot by managers, right? And so now, You know, it's like when you always watching, like you always second guessing. There's no way to be as you know what I'm saying as an athlete.
Rampage, you bring up a good point because like we usually sign guys like very young. I've had Raul Rosas for every single one of his fights. Right, we built a great relationship. You know, sometimes you get a fighter that's had a manager or two, maybe even three. You're right. They're coming in like they're kind of like, and it's like, hey man, listen, I'll put a mutual release clause in the contract. You know, you can leave at any time. Just try it out. That way you don't feel pressure or anything. Let's just get to know each other. I'm not going to build trust in one phone call, one meeting. You know, it's going to take time for us to figure out how we ebb and flow. Like, you know this, right? You're a certain way on fight week. Maybe you're one of those guys that likes to be laughing, you know, playing touch butt, joking around. Some guys are very serious. Jason, keep everyone away from me. Some people want to watch from me. You kind of have to figure out that ebb and flow. Like, okay, how do I fit in and how do I be beneficial to that client? You know?
Yeah, I understand 100%. All joking aside, I know I've been joking about my manager. He's like a brother to me.
Tiggy's done great.
Tiggy's a great manager. He's done great for me in my career and stuff like that. And I wish that he would have been a manager sooner and everything. So I know he's going to see this and he's like, man, why are you talking shit about me? But Tiggy knows my person now. He knows I'm joking.
Tiggy does a phenomenal job for his people, and I have no issue saying that with people that are in the same industry as me. Like there are a few good managers out there, and they do deserve their credit because like, a lot of times we don't get credit, right? So
and the cool thing, even with all that, and we're gonna leave all this in because he knows the same situation. At the end of the day, it's what is the point here? He's looking out for Rampage.
Yeah.
So like I can't hate on the guy because we look out for Rampage. Rampage looks out for me. The audience doesn't know any of the backstory. They don't know our relationships. They don't know your guys' relationship.
If Tiggy didn't do it, they'd say his manager didn't do anything for him. Then Tiggy does do something. It's like, oh well, man, he's being greedy for his clients. So either way, you're always juggling this. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, like
proof's in the pudding. He's always said it a million times. If you didn't have a good relationship, didn't treat your guys right, you wouldn't have a million people. You wouldn't be able to work with UFC. UFC wouldn't work with you if you were a scumbag, and vice versa. You know, same thing. If I really was stealing or ruining Rampage's life, he'd kill me.
I wouldn't be here.
I'm happy.
And
happy. Same with Tiki, right? If Tiki really was a bad manager, everybody here's a big boy, and in fighting, it's different. CEO of TJ Dillashaw, he keeps saying that, and I love it now because it's like my new line. Like you're a fighter, you're in charge of your destiny, and it's cool because now you can actually see what's happening. And Rampage always makes a good point. We'll end it with this. Be smart and intelligent enough to not just always 100% rely on everybody. 95% I'll rely on you. That 5%, let me look it over one Saturday a month and look over my finances and see my accounts and see my deals and read. Like you're honestly not doing yourself a service if you don't do that. It's 100%. A disservice to think everybody's always 100% going to be in charge of everything for you.
100%.
Can I have this?
Here we go. Now, of course you can. Well, are you really going to go stream right now?
Yeah, I gotta go stream.
All right, make sure you guys go check out Rampage Jackson's live stream on Kick. Make sure you guys go check out Iridium and their roster of talent, the wrestlers coming up in the game, their facility in Vegas, everything they're doing for their team. Jacob, Jason, can't thank you guys enough. Shout out to Rampage and everything else he's been doing, especially for the girls that he's been hanging out with. He's been in a lot better mood. And what you have? I mean, here's some of the girls he was with last night. Mayhem Miller.
Yeah,
Mayhem Miller. Tiki. Cheese, our mobile detailer, and Rampage.
We had some hotties at the Taco Tuesday party.
Rampage. Who cooked? Who did all the food?
Oh, we had some
Stonefire?
No, we had some guys come and cook authentic Mexican.
Authentic Mexican.
Authentic. Did I say the word right?
Yeah, that's funny you said that. Yeah. What do you think I was gonna think? It was an authentic.
Brandon, where to get the taco back from?
Oh my god! Hey, Brandon Moreno was amazing on the pod. Is that your new girlfriend? That's the one.
Man,
oh my god!
Chill the fuck out, bro. You cock block me every time.
Oh, she be grinding on you during the stream. My dog, you be getting some live. Oh my god, start the OnlyFans already. Jesus,
I'm not doing the OnlyFans.
Start the OnlyFans. Look at you. You, this chick, and Bob Sapp. You guys will make a killing. What?
Shut the fuck up.
All right, we're out.